Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I was just watching a video about how Gen Z is being tricked into taking out billions in payday loans through this new app called Earned Wage Access or something like that, where they can get the money that they've already earned advanced to them, right? And so how the app uses all sorts of hidden fees to disguise the real interest rate, which could be even higher than your traditional brick and mortar payday loan places. And they were talking about how it's a scam and all that. I gotta point out something though. I first noticed the payday loan scam when I was working my first job. I didn't take out a payday loan or anything, but it dawned on me when one takes out a payday loan, they're borrowing money they've already earned, right? Most people get paid once every week, once every 2 weeks, sometimes even once a month. I was working at a job in I'll get to that in a second, in Washington, where I only got paid once a week. Washington is one of the only states, I think one out of two or three states that only requires you to be paid once a month. Most states require you to be paid at least once every 2 weeks. I gotta look that up again. But most of the time, when you go to a payday loan shop and you borrow $100, you've already earned 100 at your job, right? Chances are, right? Otherwise, they probably wouldn't even loan it to you, right? And it got me thinking. I was working on my PhD, and I was thinking, gee, maybe your employer takes the money that you've already earned for them, and they literally walk down the street to the payday loan center to invest in that payday loan center to loan it back to you, right? Basically, it's a pay cut if you really think about it, right? I wouldn't be surprised in the grand scheme of things if that's how it plays out. After all, our financial system is so intertwined with each other. So, in other words, you go to your employer, you produce all sorts of widgets, they make money today. You don't get paid until 2 weeks later, but your employer takes some of the money that you've earned for them and they invest in the payday loan store next door. And next thing you know, you go there to borrow the money. In essence, your pay has been cut, right? In essence, when you agreed to make whatever amount per hour, it's really only a much lower amount if you want to be paid right away, right? In essence, that's what it is, right? But it got me thinking, why do we not get paid until long after we've worked, right? So does other things work that way? Like I'm an artist, right? When I go to the art show or sell art on Facebook Marketplace, can you imagine if somebody only wants to pay me 2 weeks from now for my art? I guess at the art show it kind of works that way because they do cut you a check a couple well, not a couple weeks, like a week later usually, and then depending on how fast or slow the mail decides to be. But it just seems off, right? I was teaching at Washington Technology University, and I got paid twice a month there. The markets had just crashed because war had broken out in Ukraine, and I wanted to take advantage of that. And I decided to see, because I wanted to experience it anyway. I went up to my dean and I asked if I could get my pay, a part of my pay at least, advanced to me. Told him I had a family emergency, and so uh, I've learned that if you want something weird at work, just say it's a family matter. Nobody digs into it, right? After all, you could have just had a family member pass away. It could have been a family member with cancer. It could have been a car accident. Nobody wants to touch that kind of stuff. Or, oh, can I borrow some money? There's been a family matter, or I'm not going to be available on Tuesday. There's a family matter. Nobody wants to dig into that, right? If you start talking about the market, I want to take advantage of the market. Any chance I get a paycheck sooner? Now, maybe, well, chances are your manager wants to make money too, right? Even if he doesn't direct, even if he doesn't directly ask you where the opportunity is, it creates an awkwardness, right? Anyway, I got some of the money advanced, but my dean acted like he was doing me a big favor, and when I did the math, I was a week and a half into a 2 week period, and I literally asked for like a couple days worth of pay. Money that I've already fucking earned. And he treats it like he's doing me this big monumental favor. Now, in August 2022, actually, was it August, June or July? I was thinking about two different jobs I could work at. There was a tutoring center, and I also thought about a contract at Washington Technology University, if I remember correctly. The tutoring center paid a little bit more, but there was a little bit of a catch. And I knew this because I had worked with the tutoring center remotely during COVID. He only cut a check once a month. And also, oftentimes the check didn't show up until 2 weeks later. So if I started on July 1st, I can't remember the exact day, 2022, I wouldn't get my first check until August 15th. And that was a little bit of a problem because I'll let you look at the markets at the time. Silver prices were really low. I wanted to take advantage of the market. And if I remember correctly, silver hit a high during the war in Ukraine. It hit $35 maybe. And then there was a time when it corrected to like 19 or 18. I really wanted to take advantage of that. And so I was weighing that. Do I want my money? And plus, I, let's face it, Washington Tech was probably going to be better for my career anyway. The tutoring center was, oh my god, let's go buy some silver. But it wasn't going to pay me until potentially after the silver prices had come back, right? And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this, and I really had to make my decision with WTU, and I was on a time crunch, and I blurted it out to the tutoring center. Hey, I just noticed that you only pay once a month. I love it. This pays better, but it's not going to work on my budgeting schedule. That's all I said. And so he told me that he actually just got a new payroll software, or something, and now he can pay twice a month. So it turned out okay, but it got me thinking. Why don't we get our fucking money? Now, some people will say it makes it hard to budget our bills, right? Like our once a month bills or once a year bills. But then it got me thinking, those bills could come every day too. Like for example, I just paid my car insurance. I pay 6 months at a time. What's not to say that we can't have a car insurance bill every day? Now, oh, the transaction costs. You know what? I remember back in those good old days when banks used to charge huge overdraft fees, and they would go into the trouble of reordering the order of your transactions. Did it cost them a lot of money to rearrange those transactions? I don't seem to remember that. Right? See, it's only expensive when they don't want to do it, right? Because your employer would rather take the money you've already fucking earned and invest it in payday loan companies than to actually pay. Oh, it's going to cost a lot of money. When they're charging you fees, oh my god, it costs nothing. Here, take all these bills, right? Anyway, this is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.